Hey guys, Shyla Colt here. Finally, I know that I am super behind. Has anyone seen the show Clarissa Explains It All from the 90s? Last week was like Shyla Fails It All. I completely bombed the Cozy-a-thon, which was something I was looking forward to, but I ended up finishing my first draft of my book and I had to go back in it, and it was completely time consuming and crazy. But I also was working on some new marketing strategies, which I'll talk a little bit about here also, just so I can catch you up on everything that's been going on with me. So because I was so busy with work, I actually ended up only able to squeeze in graphic novels, which was cool because it's been a long time since I did a graphic novel binge, and I'll talk about the ones that I read now. So I read book one of the goddamn Before the Flood. This was on like the top 100 graphic novels that came out this year, so I picked it up at the library because of that, and I went into it blind, not really understanding what it was about. And it was definitely the story of Cain as he has wandered the earth and become completely jaded. The earth is insane, out of control, like Mad Max mutant cannibal style. It was dark, it was gritty, it was deep. Wow. Yeah, that was my response as I was reading this. I don't know if I'm going to continue on with the second because it was just so bleak and full of just despair. And I was like, you know what? I think I had enough of that just from all the things that are going on in the world. I thought it was well thought out, the way that they tied in sort of like the biblical verses with what they had going on in the reimagining of the world. But not for me. I gave this a 4 out of 5 though. And then I read Fables, Werewolves in the Heartland. Again, I just picked it up because of its cover. It was very strange. I guess it wasn't what I was expecting. It was definitely sort of like where werewolves came from and them being involved with the Nazis and where they went after that and how they were sort of living in their own town under their own rules, and I just wasn't into it at all. This was like a 2-star read for me. I felt like it was just very heavy on information, but not on plot or characterization. So it was like I was forcing myself to finish reading it. If you've read this and you had a different experience, I'd love to hear your take on it. Last but not least, I read Lock and Key Volume 1 by Joe Hill. I went into this blind. Holy crap, is this some dark and twisted, turny stuff going on here. Yeah, it was just very dark and very bleak, and there was definitely some gore involved. If you don't like gore in your graphic novels, this is definitely not the read for you. It basically starts off with a family tragedy where this family is recovering from a robbery that stole their father's life, and they have moved across the country to a house called the Key House. Everybody's trying to get adapted. The house is old and creepy and spooky and has a lot of different doorways and secrets. I really found the way that Joe Hill did magic very interesting. There were a lot of things I did want to know more about, but it is so grim and violent that I just don't feel like it's what I want to be reading right now. So while I might pick this up at a later date, I'm definitely not going to be reading it now. I definitely gave this like a 4 out of 5 because it was very interesting and there were things that I did not see coming. I just kind of not in the mood to read that right now. So that's what I managed to read in the past week and a half, and now I'm going to show you what I have in my queue to read and what I'm currently reading. The Strain by Guillermo del Toro. It's based on his book and then the series that they had later on. This is basically a mishmash of a vampire story slash zombie outbreak because there is a disease and it is spreading rapidly, but the creatures they create are very vampiristic in nature and a take on vampire lore from the old country. Incredibly interesting, and I'm curious to see how they have adapted it to graphic novels. And next I have Outcast. I have no clue what this is about. I'm just walking in blind because I'm really enjoying that experience recently, and where I just find something that interests me about the book and then I go with it without looking it up too much. 28 Days Later. I loved this movie, so I'm very curious to see what the graphic novels are about. And it's October, so it's the perfect time to be reading all my spooky horror graphic novels that I have picked up. Tokyo Ghoul. I also have no clue what this book is about, so we will find out what it's about together. And now for the list of books that I am currently reading. My Best Friend's Exorcism. Now, I picked this up, one, because that's a very interesting topic. It caught my attention, but also because this is set in the 80s. So as I'm reading this, I am totally getting nostalgia. We're starting off with two friends from a young age and growing up to the age where the exorcism occurred. I haven't gotten there yet. I'm just a little bit of ways in here, about 40 pages, but I'm really enjoying sort of like the throwbacks, like roller skating and E.T. Very much enjoying this book. Then we have Devil's Kiss by Sarah Chada. The cover caught my eye, but the thing that I thought was so cool about this was this based on Knights Templar, which is something that I'm very interested in because I love history. But the fact that this girl is the only girl in the organization gave it this awesome twist. Now, I'm about 40 pages into this and I'm enjoying it so far, but I really want the story to get started so I can see where it's going to go, because right now we're sort of just world building and learning how everything works. Finally, we have Agents of Chaos, The X-Files by, oh, I knew I was going to forget it, Cami Garcia. And this is basically Fox Mulder's story as a kid. And it starts off like with him as a young adult, and then when he loses his sister. I had to pick it up because I am a huge X-Files fan. I'm just a little bit into this, so I can't really give you my opinion on it so far. I hope that it's well done because I would be heartbroken if it wasn't. I will be checking in with you guys tomorrow to tell you more of what I think about the books that I'm reading. And that's pretty much it for my reading. That's what I got read, what I'm currently reading, and what is on my queue. I will definitely be updating you with check-ins all throughout my vlog next week on what's going on. Now, for those of my readers who do follow me here, I always want to give you something a little extra and sort of like a first glance. So, here is a sneak peek at one of the items that are going to be in the box set that I have offered. These teas have been specifically blended for my two main characters, Luella and Cristobal. Luella, of course, is a witch, and Cristobal is the vampire. And you will get one of each. I really had so much fun going down to the tea house, talking with them about my book, and then working very closely with them to develop flavors that I felt really honored the spirit of these characters. I have always wanted to do something like this, and I'm just excited to get a chance to really get into it. You asked, is this going to be a series? Absolutely, it will be a series, and it won't just feature these main two. Once you read the book, you won't understand because there's just a whole new world to explore and really get to know better, and some very interesting characters who are in the background now, but definitely are waiting for their turn to shine. You will also be getting a bookish candle tart. Now, I'm not going to show you the finished project with all of the cool stickers on it, but I did work very hard on developing the right scent for Cristobal. So you will be getting this. I'm merely excited for you to get the box and to experience it as a whole as you're reading the book or after you're reading the book, to just fully immerse you in that world. That has taken up my 2 weeks, guys. That's where I have been. That's what I've been doing. Next week, I'll definitely be back on tracks as I'm waiting for edits and to hear back from my beta readers. For you guys out there who are reading it right now, thank you so much. I've loved your comments and your insight. It is so incredibly helpful for me. If you are interested in beta reading, definitely contact me and I will get you guys hooked up. That was my past 2 weeks basically in a nutshell. I am going to hop off of here now because I have an unboxing to film. I'm super behind, and I will do a couple more videos, so I will be back strong next week. Thank you all for following me, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.